All right, hey guys, I had people on stream ask me how, if I can teach them or if I can help them draw creatures basically. And I wanted to make a video kind of explaining the thought process behind how you can help yourself draw creatures. I think a lot of people are sort of too stuck in their mind about it, and so they're sort of going in an opposite direction because what they'll do is try to think of a fully realized concept that then they can export onto the paper, and that's very hard to do initially. The best thing you can do to like quickly be able to draw some unique original creatures or things is to you just basically need to draw a lot. Like the pencil has to go on paper. That's more important than having an internal idea that you're going to extract onto the paper, because when you draw you can draw really simple things like circles and rocks and squares, and then your mind will begin to make the connections for you that you can then extrapolate into a fully realized image, if that makes sense. You don't need to have a full concept before you start drawing, because your mind isn't unless you have one of these minds that can do that. Most people cannot, and for the most part I can't either have a fully realized concept that just enters into my mind that I can then just go onto the paper. If I'm just thinking of cool things, the best way to do it is to communicate back and forth with while you're drawing, and not dedicate too much time to any one thing. Just start putting images down on paper, let your brain make the connection of said something. Like it'll begin to see the shape emerge, and then you basically communicate back and forth about what's happening. And then once you see that it's going in an interesting direction, like this looks like nothing else, or whatever you think personally that it's worth fully realizing, like you're gonna like draw it out fully, that then you can do that. But I think a lot of people are going into it sort of the wrong way, where they try to have a fully realized concept, which is too difficult to do in the beginning, and so they end up kind of creating like anxiety, and then they can't they don't know how to even begin to put that on paper, because the complexity of what you're imagining is going to be way too difficult in the beginning, if that makes sense. So the best way to do it, and I'll show you how you can kind of do it right now. Hey buddy, get out of there. But basically the way you want to do it is the way I'm describing it. The most important thing is to get the pencil on paper first. Let the random things you're drawing give you ideas. Then once it's on paper, you can kind of shape it into a little bit more of what you want, instead of the other way around, where you're going to be stuck in your head perpetually because you're not drawing. In fact, I would say it's more important to, even if you want to just copy characters you like, it's more important to be putting things on paper with pencil, and just not tracing but copying what you're seeing that you like, because then that will you'll begin to see other things that you can kind of turn into other things from that, if that makes sense. And then you're in the process of drawing, you're getting better. So that's kind of what you want to do. So I think that's where people are getting stuck, that want to draw, but they don't know how to like get in there. And I did the creature drawing stuff for like a super long time before I started to like really try and learn how to draw, if that makes sense. So I got good through that process, and I don't mean like really good, but I mean like good enough where most people like the stuff where I draw, even though like I didn't really specifically practice specific art skills. I just got good at it just by doing it a lot, and I came up with a lot of interesting ideas, I think. But it wasn't but the reason I was able to do it is because I would just draw. I didn't have internal anxiety about what should I draw. Like I didn't try to come up with an idea. I would either just draw cool things that I thought were cool, and then I would just draw random things and let it take shape by itself, and then say, hey, here's now that I like this thing, that the way it's shaping out, I can then take it over here and then fully realize it, if that makes sense. So I'll show you kind of what I mean here in a second, so people are not confused about what I'm talking about. Yeah. All right, so here we are. You're tired of drawing and copying things, and you want to move more into sort of creating your own things. And here's a way you can do it is to basically not think, not try to have an original concept. Let me adjust my camera here so it's focused in. You don't need. Just make sure that's okay. So you don't need to think of the whole thing, right? I mean, you can have a general idea of what you kind of want to go towards, but before you do that, to get your brain warmed up and kind of just get your pencil on paper is, you know, let's say you have no idea, like you're sitting there and you have no idea what to draw, right? You're like in this consistently in this stupor, and so that prevents you from drawing, right? So what I would do, what do you know how to draw, right? You can draw a square, you can draw squares, you can draw circles, you can draw shapes, right? Pretty simple. And so that's our first step. We're already in the process here. So this is already going in the right direction. We're already further than being inside of our minds, right? We're executing on something. So you can just basically connect shapes. This is sort of what you can do if you have like no ideas. You're just basically connecting shapes, right? Until an idea starts to emerge from our minds. Until, you know, an idea. What could this be? I don't know yet. But you can see this kind of looks like a shape. This kind of looks like something. We can add some shadow here. Sorry for the camera shake. I gotta mount my camera somehow differently. But you can just basically, you don't need to be a super genius to come up with something kind of unique and kind of new. No, the skill level is going to be a skill level, but if you're like having, like if you're done tracing stuff, you want to move into something else. Here's another, you know, two triangles. We get a different kind of shape, right? Now this isn't, this is the beginning of what we do to get warmed up, and or sometimes this will flow into creature design. So you might have to do this for 10, 20 minutes, maybe whatever. You have a sort of a general idea that, let's say it's a humanoid style creature. Let's go over here a little bit. Move this over. It's a humanoid style creature. So we're basically going to draw what? Like a head, right? Circle. And let's say it's a sort of a, I don't know, massive, right? So we have like we just need to have this vague shadow of an idea in my mind that I want to draw a big kind of creature that is humanoid. We raise its back here. Maybe this isn't the greatest example because I'm already drawing something, but you know, big back makes it look massive. You know, give it sort of a big body, bigger arms. And though, you know, and this is really, you can draw really simple things and then fully realize them if you sort of liked the direction that it's starting to go in. You know, and from here you can just basically add detail, draw another one of these, add detail. But, you know, I guess that wasn't the best example because I just drew something, right? We want to kind of come up with something out of nothing where you have like, you're in a situation where you have no idea what to draw, right? So I'm gonna try and kind of think of something here of how you can sort of have a process for beginning to draw towards something when you have nothing, right? So let's say I want to do, I'll do like sort of a rectangle. I'll do another rectangle. I'll do another rectangle here. Whatever. I'm just showing you how to draw, how drawing shapes next to each other can result in something, right? Your mind can now make the connection. Your mind can now begin to make the connection with these shapes about what this could be. So this is literally, I had nothing in my mind. I just drew shapes, right? So where can we go from here, right? We can either connect the shapes into a single object and see if my mind starts to think of something, right? So what I'm seeing right now in my mind, like something that's glanced in my mind from this shape, is sort of a centipede type creature. I can kind of see something emerging here, right? It's facing away from us, so we're seeing its back, and it's an insectoid, right? It's like a little insectoid creature. So it's facing that way. And we can kind of make it longer, like it's curled up, right? We can add more rectangles to kind of start moving into this direction. And again, this is like, I can go through like 30 of these before something interesting happens. You don't have to have this be a success. You're just exercising your brain. You're not committing super fully to anything. You're just having fun. You're learning, and then you're enjoying the process. So now all we have to do to complete this simple creature is to basically, right, we just egg some insect leg. We just do like little lightning bolts here. And it's sort of interesting, right? It's like you can kind of work off this. You can draw a page full of these and say, whatever, and then kind of something can emerge out of that. I kind of want to bring its tail up this way. We can, I don't know. If I don't know where to go, whenever I don't have an idea, really, I'll just add horns for no reason. Just add horns. Horns, I guess it's a bug, so it looks like more like they're pinchers or something. But, so that this is a way of pulling something out of nothing. Now we have an idea here. We have something here that's happening. It's already happened. It's on paper, right? We can either abandon this, which is what I would do. Like, this isn't that, it kind of went nowhere, but it's sort of interesting, and I can like look back on it, see if something else shapes up. We can either, actually, I'm going to do a little bit of a split. So its body is split in two. You'll see this on caterpillars sometimes. And we can just add detail here. So its body has like these sort of a structure to it that's kind of going like this. And this all came out of nothing. I did not have a preconceived idea of what I'm going to draw here. I'm just putting shapes down until my mind connects the dots for me. And then I extract, like I said, I'm extracting this back into my brain and then communicating back with it. Communicating with this image back with it. And then I'm seeing what happened after I communicated, after I put some lines down, and seeing where I want to go from there. Now, a lot of times this won't go anywhere. This won't go into an amazing piece. But what we're doing here is we're drawing. So we're moving in the right direction now. We're putting pencil on paper. And like if you do this 5 times, there's a good chance you're going to come up with an idea that's sort of interesting that you can like commit to. So just as an example, since whatever, I'll just do more of this, right? More of this kind of thing. Pyramid. This is just a tech. This isn't to teach you how to be good at drawing. This is to get you to draw and be able to come up with concepts out of nothing. So you can kind of, we can draw something like this. I can already feel this going nowhere, but, just adding more 3D shapes. More 3D shapes. Like I'm just jotting things down without really, and like I don't like this pyramid, right? And we don't have to commit to the pyramid. We can just erase it and pretend it wasn't. So this shape I kind of like, right? This shape, whatever this is, this 3D shape I drew, I kind of like where this is going. This is sort of interesting, right? So what I'm thinking here is we add a pronounced forward-going piece of metal or whatever material, and underneath it is like I'm seeing like a head, right? So it's like a robot. It's got like a camera here or a head or something, and then we can add like
these circles here and do little arms, and now we're a weird, strange robot is starting to emerge from. And I kind of want to add more mass here for some reason. Like I want to add something here, and I'm not gonna commit anything except some lines to just start visualizing something here. We're visualizing more mass here, and it could just go back. It could go back, and maybe I'll take this concept and try again to see if something else emerges within my mind that like I'm really interested in. Because this is kind of lame, but here we are. We got like this mass here that he's carrying. It could be his like the thing that allows him to propel himself off the ground or something. You know, so we're gonna finish the arms a little bit more. They're like he's like one of these librarian keeping robots, right? So his arms are going in and then back down. So he's like one of these creepy maintenance system operators, right? And then I'll give him a little bit of he's gonna have a humanoid face because that's creepier, right? If he's a sort of a weird human infused with machines kind of a creature. Something you would see in like 40K, right? So we got this protruding forward. We could do he's hovering, so he's not, you know, he's gonna have something here with his body. Again, just more rectangles and spheres, nothing crazy. And see how just drawing a few simple shapes can start taking you into a direction. Again, I just drew two like weird concepts that could go somewhere, and you're basically going to be going through these like this until you're like, oh, you know what, that's really worth putting down on paper. This is interesting, I like where this is going, and I'm going to commit to this idea and fully realize it, right? Again, I didn't have any thought. I'd never had a single thought about where this was going to go previous to me. This communication style with your artwork is a way to, like a really easy way to come up with concepts quickly and basically be able to, and look, we're drawing, right? So allegedly there is like improvement happening and like your brain is getting warmed up towards this kind of thing. So this is what I would recommend for newer artists is instead of trying to extract like a super complicated idea, don't do that. Just draw shapes and let your brain kind of make some of the connections and then see if you like where it's going. If you don't, that's fine. You can just start another one. And then let's say a concept comes along that you're like, you know what, this is really original, this is really interesting. Then you can take that into fully realized concept. So anyway, I hope this helps newer people who want to draw original creatures that are kind of scary. I guess I lean more towards horror and like you know, war stuff and, you know, just things that interest me, but you can do this for anything you want. But yeah, so this is how I do and design things and come up with concepts if I'm like tired and I don't have like a brilliant idea that's been sort of lurking in my mind that I want to draw, right? This is just more like, but and you can do good with this. You can like, you know, render this out and add some stuff in the background, and all of a sudden you've created like this little world that you have there. You know, so anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this helps newer people. Like and subscribe if you liked it. Thanks and goodbye.